What's up guys, Guru here and welcome back to the final day of Team of the Year. That is right, we have 24 hours left with Blues being in packs before Future Stars starts tomorrow, but there is a lot to talk about regarding Team of the Year. So, if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like rating, let me know down below how you have thought of Team of the Year. We're going to discuss a lot of things, I'm interested to see what you guys think about it, but as we do that, let's get into 6 PM content and see what EA have released on this final day. So then, here we go, with a bit of content, and the title of today's video kind of really is what I really want to focus on. Has this been the worst Team of the Year ever? Because I think my opinion on this Team of the Year is so vastly different to the majority of what people would say. If you look at Twitter and Twitch chats and YouTube videos and all of that type of stuff, to what the majority of people are saying, they would say yes, or it's worse than last year at least, or anything like that. Personally, I'm not necessarily going to say it's better than last year. It's probably just about on par. But I've not had an issue with Team of the Year this year. Now, that's not because I packed like 20 Team of the Years. Literally, my counter is in, down there, bottom corner. Jules Koundé is the only Team of the Year I've packed. I've packed Heaps, and I've packed David Raya as honourable mentions, and I haven't packed a single one of the 10 icons. So, it's not like my packs have been incredibly different. But what I think it definitely has been is because we haven't had this unlimited grind, as people keep saying, people are unhappy with it. There's been so much that you could do that, honestly, there has been, not necessarily an unlimited grind, but there's been a consistent grind that you've been able to get loads of stuff done. We've had Team of the Year live events, which, okay, there's a slight separate issue in the sense of the way most of these events are, you have to either win 6-all, score a goal in 12, and unfortunately a lot of people just go into a game and put the controller down. That's a bigger issue we have with this game, slightly different. But the reward side of things, good evos, good packs, easy enough to sort of obtain for the majority. This one's a little bit different. I mean, I'm struggling to actually get a win in this tournament, but if I can, it's another 84 times 7, it's another 86 times 4. That's another SBC squad complete. There's been daily play, which again, I kind of understand some people have said, oh, this would have been better as like an 81 times 3 pack, that type of thing. I kind of get where they're coming from on that part. However, at the same time, consumables are really hard to come by this year. So trying to get anything like sort of chemistry styles or anything, I kind of don't mind having this. Maybe if it was like, I don't know, if it could change like every 3 days. So you had Hunters for 3 days and an 81 times 3 pack, and then Shadows for 3 days and an 81 times 3. If they could update it, that would have been nice. Again, Team of the Year victory lap just by playing the game. So playing a game in champs, playing a game in live events, squad battles or rush. It should be fairly easy that you were able to get these done. There's been the winter wildcard crafting that was left over, so if you hadn't completed that, you had that to grind through. Plus, there's been a new Team of the Year crafting upgrade, which has now been extended for the next 2 weeks, which is good because then at least we've got 79 times 3 packs for the next 2 weeks. Quite nice to have that from EA. But again, nice bit of fodder there. And then there's been obviously loads of other things. The Football Fanatics pack, I think this has been really good because there's been a nice grind through playing gameplay. You don't necessarily have to use your full strength team. It's trying to use like different players, so chuck a Dutch player in or chuck some WSL players in for a few games in a certain game mode, and then use, I don't know, Beerenstein if you were able to get Hair to then complete the play 7 matches with Dutch players, or you do that at the same time as completing it, all of that type of stuff. There's been a lot to go through in terms of gameplay, so for me, I personally don't think EA could have done too much more in that sense. Now, as we're kind of having these conversations, we're also going to talk about the content that came out today. We've had a brand new season come out, which in itself has its own problems. We're not going to class this as a Team of the Year problem. We're going to class this as a separate one, but there's still a discussion on this as well because we've had obviously a brand new set of silver icons coming out, which is brilliant. Again, nice that we've got these cards. These are a hell of a lot harder to complete this year, not this year, this season. There's a lot more to it, which basically, to me, how I take this and interpret this as this is the type of grind that you will do throughout the season. It's not, oh, let me race to get Patrick Vieira done in like 3 days. This is probably, I'm going to put, like I've got a French. Like, I've got quite a few French players in my team anyway, so that's not a problem. But because it's French players and Premier League players, pretty much, you're going to have these sort of players in your team. But assist at least one goal in 100 separate matches using midfielder. Now, realistically, if you're a fairly average player on this game doing the majority of content, you're going to play 100 games at least, and you're probably going to get an assist with a player in them. So that's going to like do itself for you, but it's just you're not going to get it complete straight away. Now, the likes of Laurent Blanc, you can get fairly quick if you use, if you specifically try and do these. But again, over time, you'll score 15 volleys in separate games. It's not a goal that you'll score consistently, but you'll score a few of them. Same with Henry, same with all of this type of stuff you'll slowly do over time, which I don't mind because it kind of gives you a longer grind on the game. It gives you more incentive to continuously log on every day and, all right, well, if I go and play this game mode, I'll get a little more part of this done. If I go and play this game mode, I'll get another part of this done, that type of stuff. But I think one thing that is an issue is obviously because we can't Evo these cards anymore, some of these cards aren't great. Now, EA have always said you were never intended to be able to Evo these cards. Unfortunately, with the previous season, I think it was, or could have been the season before, because of those Evos were unlimited to the World Tours as well, it kind of meant that obviously we all did the Hullet Evos or a Maldini Evo or chose different cards we could Evo up, which was fine, but it wasn't EA's intention. And because we've already had the positive from that, everybody kind of wants it back, which I understand why we want it back, because it's nice to upgrade these cards. Some of these cards aren't good enough, in a sense, for just being silver, but at the same time, they're also silver cards. Compared to other silvers, they're pretty much on par. If you were to go into, I don't know, the Ligue 1 and try and find a French centre mid who's silver, you're probably going to find a card that's very similar in terms of stats, probably a little bit worse, with a lot less playstyles. So, yes, Patrick Vieira might not fit the meta. Granted, he's got, like, Incisive, and he's got Block, and he's got Slide Tackle, he's got Bruiser, he's got Enforcer. But, okay, maybe Area of Fortress isn't the best, but if you were to have a corner in a game where the majority of players don't have playstyles, but he does, he's probably going to score that corner, or he's going to defend it for you. If you play in a game where majority of players who are silver don't have any passing playstyles, he's got Incisive, he's more likely to feel a lot better in that game mode because he's got the Incisive pass. Now, this also sort of says that these are only intended to be used in the silver tournaments, which is kind of a bit one-dimensional in a sense of, okay, well, we can only use Henry after working so long for him in a certain game mode. But, again, it just means that, well, you grind to work towards this Henry in one thing, and then the players that come in live events, you use them to work into your gauntlet teams, and then you do this, that, and the other. So, I understand where people are annoyed at this. Personally, I don't have an issue with it. I've always loved silver stars and everything EA's always done with silvers. When they had a full... they did a week promo in, like, FIFA 22, FIFA 23, something like that, where it was just a full week of silvers, and a lot of people didn't enjoy it because it didn't make any difference to their teams. For me, I enjoy it because I'm a card collector. I like just having different cards in my club, so I quite enjoyed it, but again, that's just me, hey-ho. On top of the silver icons we've had today, we've also had a brand new season, which probably is one of the best seasons we've had, if I'm 100% honest. In terms of what's available, there's a lot of really good players that are kind of mixed into this. Some really good Evos that will obviously take some playstyles to like the next level in terms of there's 2 playstyles available on some cards. The boosts are for like 88, 89 rated cards, which will also be quite useful because everything's taken a step up. You can also buy the Team of the Year version of FC26 for £20, which will then give you 5,000 season progress, which then means you can boost up a little bit quicker. I don't think it's worth it because of the way EA releases season progress. You'll get it done by the end of the season. Okay, you might have it maybe 3 or 4 days after some people have got it, but for the sake of 3 or 4 days, it doesn't make that much difference. Now, there's some really nice cards in here. The likes of this Desai, I think, is really good. We've also had... there's a few cards like before that as well, which is actually half decent. The end cards are Michael Owen and Petit. These two are very much cards that fit the meta. which I absolutely love. Obviously, there's a bit of Future Stars mixed in with a bit of Team of the Year because this is kind of when it's coming out. It came out at the end of Team of the Year, starting into the Future Stars promo. So, again, it's not perfect, but there's a lot to it that is nice, and I think that's what maybe people might not see. I think the season pass has gone down well, so I don't really think that's a problem. The likes of this 2-ram card is brilliant. Yes, you're going to have them in probably 3 weeks' time, maybe 3.5 weeks, but still at that point, yes, there'll be a lot of cards similar to him, but the whole point is, you unlock this to be able to use different types of cards that are similar level, but can go into your team for different objectives, different modes, all of that type of thing. I quite like it. So, yeah, objective-wise, good day in terms of content. Good for me in terms of Team of the Year. Personally, a lot of people haven't liked it. There's been enough content. I don't think there's been any issues there. Now, we flip it the other way into Evos. A lot of people have had a lot of issues with Evos. Don't get me wrong, they haven't been the best. We've had better Evos in the past. However, the likes of this Soboslai card for me, I'm about to take him to 87 rated with 90 pace, 87 shooting, 90 passing, 90 dribbling, 83 defending, and 85 physical. Now, when I actually go back and look at the Evo path, because I'm doing it all on foot.gg, I literally have every step of every Evo I've done. There's probably about 20 or 25 different Evos on this card, which, considering he was only an 83 rated, is quite a lot. And yes, they're all small boosts, but at the same time, this is possibly one of the best midfielders I have in my club, because it's all been small incremental boosts that over time build up and work quite nicely. The likes of this Van de Ven. The Team of the Year, build your own Team of the Year honorable mention Evo type thing. Realistically, EA wanted you to build like a midfielder because it's sort of all set out for CDM, centre mids and cams. Yes, we've had the position changes to move a striker to cam, and we've had the centre back to CDM. So yes, you could technically do that. But for me, this has been one of the best cards that you can do. Plus, add on some of the new Evos in the season pass in 2 or 3 weeks' time. This will be one of the best centre backs for the rest of the game, which is brilliant. But it's about understanding what EA's giving you over what they're kind of saying, which kind of really explains this Evo, the Royal Winger. Now, what it's saying is, rule the flank with improved defensive attributes, deadly delivery, ice-cold composure, built for dominance. This winger turns wide spaces into a royal stage. Now, realistically, it gives anticipate, it gives rapid, it gives anticipate, it gives whip pass, it gives press proven. So, yes, putting it on a left winger might not be your best option. It was for left mids or right mids. So, if you put it on your left winger, it will improve quite a few things that are half decent, but also will give anticipate, which maybe you don't want on a winger, but does have its benefits of if you're pressing a high line, it will be useful. On the flip side, because it's for left mid and right mids, a lot of left backs, a lot of right backs have that position. That's what EA have gave this year. So then looking into it, it's, okay, well, can you make a bit of an attacking sort of fullback? Well, yes, if you take the likes of Kirkez, I put him in 2 Evos today to be able to get him up to a decent state with sort of play styles. I've gave him the left mid to centre mid because why not? Bit different. Could put him into a different Evo path going forward. But what I was able to do is you end up giving him a defensive boost of 7 because he started at 77, so already onto a decent set. He goes up to 88 pace. He's got good passing, okay dribbling, good physical. He's got really nice play styles, I think, as a fullback. Kind of what you need. Maybe you could say, okay, well, incisive pass would be good. Or maybe you could say bruiser would be nice to have on him. There's a few different things that could work well. But overall, roughly, it's not a bad card. And it's 88 rated, which right now is basically going to be like the next step for Evo. So this card is pretty much in a good place. Will be good for gauntlet teams. Will be good for objective teams. Maybe it's not going to be my best team, but it's there available to then be upgraded to possibly then go into being my best right back, or best left back, in 2 weeks' time, depending on what comes out. Now, in terms of today's Evo, it's actually really good. The Tiki Tactician is quite nice because it gives Tiki Taka Plus, which I think a lot of people are wanting. Now, obviously, it will only give it to a card that doesn't have a playstyle. It won't give 2 playstyle pluses. So, as much as my Soboslai will fit in, it would probably do nothing to this card. But if we were to take a card that doesn't already have a playstyle, which is going to be hard to try and find, do we have a midfielder that doesn't have one? Bruno Guimaraes. Let's take his inform. So in terms of what this does, it will give Tiki Taka Plus, and it will give some really nice playstyles. It will also give 1-star weak foot. So yeah, he goes to 3-star weak foot. Realistically, yes, it doesn't improve his sort of attributes in terms of like his stats, but it gives him good play styles, which then means that because he's not gone up any ratings, he can then just go straight into the next Evo that gives out stats. I like it when the play styles are good, it's worth the coins. When they're not so great sometimes like the power play one, I'm not a massive fan of this one. I think, is it that one? There's another one that I wasn't a fan of. Sometimes it's not worth it. So as much as we can say the Evos aren't great, creative director, I think that was over the last 2 days, this is really good. Line breaker is actually quite good. The crab walk isn't amazing, but it's also quite good for defenders and fullbacks to just sort of give them the next upgrade. Again, yes, you're taking them up by 1 stat, but if you're doing it on an 84, 85, 86 rated, they still can fit into the next Evo. An ultimate fullback, again, not brilliant, but if it hasn't got Jockey already, Jockey's really good on your fullback. It's a nice option to build something. So it's not necessarily saying that every Evo has to take it up to the top tier level. It's, okay, there's 3 or 4 Evos that are good, they're not great, but if you put them all together, they make something good. And I think that's how people need to look at Evos. I just don't think they're doing that necessarily. So, again, I think Evos have been alright over Team of the Year. Today's content, fairly good. But again, that's just my opinion on it. As you see by my team, I've got 1, 2... I mean, Kirkers is in there only because he's an Evo right now. It's normally Marcelo's SBC. But Chiesa's an Evo. Pina's an Evo. Hullet we've Evo'd up. Soboslai is an Evo. Van der Ven is an Evo. Henry and Vieira have had Evo upgrades, but nothing too major. So realistically, apart from basically my back line, apart from Van der Ven, they're all like the base cards. Every other card has either been through an Evo or had a little Evo to make them even better than what they already are, which is kind of whole point of Evo, which also shows how important they are this year compared to pack pull cards, compared to SBCs. Now, that leads us on to SBCs here. A lot of people not happy with the content over the last 2 days. Now, I haven't been here for the last 2 days. Tuesday wasn't great content. Wednesday, as you can probably tell by my voice as well, I don't have one. I was at the Liverpool game, so that's kind of why I've not been here. But yesterday we got the 82 times 25s for 10 times per day, along with an 88 to 90 rated pack for 5 times. Now, these are good for future stars, maybe not great for Team of the Year. They're not going to help you too much. The 82 times 25s are nice. I haven't got a problem with them. I think that 10 times is more than enough per day. It gives you actually maybe too much content to work towards. But either way, it's good to have and something that you can work on. If you've got a bit of extra time, you can do them. But the main thing that everyone's had an issue with is saying that there's not been like an unlimited grind. There is, realistically. It's just that people will spend more time on the game over Team of the Year than any other time because it's a bigger promo, which is understandable. It's just how they spend the time on the game. They might not want to do what the grind is. So if you do all your daily SBCs, your bronze, your silvers, your golds, and you also do your winter provisions, that will allow you to complete the likes of the player picks. It will also give you enough gold cards to do the Team of the Year crafting upgrades, and then you'll sometimes have a few left over to do a few premium packs. That will then go back into crafting upgrades. Okay, so that might take up an hour of your day doing that. You then also have the 83 times 10s, which with some of the fodder you get from opening the SBC crafting, you'll be able to obviously complete the 83 times 10s, 85 times 3s, all of that type of stuff, but also from all the packs you get from playing the game and objectives, you basically utilize them in the 85 times 3 attackers, the 85 times 3 defenders. All of that type of stuff is then available to grind. A lot of people are saying about player SBCs. Now, yes, some of them haven't been great. Overall, EA don't make it so that you will complete every single SBC that's here. So out of every SBC that's here right now, I've completed 6. Of the ones over Team of the Year, I've actually only done 3. Now, I'm going to work towards... I haven't done any SBCs over the last few days since I saw gravenberch was leaked. I'm going to get him boxed off because he's a Liverpool player. Is he the best card in the world? Absolutely not. There's better midfielders. There's better EVA versions of midfielders that you could do instead. Is he easy to grind? Maybe not. In terms of him being, 185, 186, 187, and then 488 rated. Okay, yes, he's not easy to grind, but he's also there for 3 weeks. So, working towards him over a week, you'll be able to get that done. We already have spoke about the Ronaldo and Messi. That's an anomaly to everything of all of this. It's just too expensive. But the likes of Delict and Gabriel, okay, you're not in... EA aren't saying, oh, do both of them. You're going to pick one or the other realistically if you need a centre-back. Now, who you choose to do is your choice, but you don't have to do both of them. Dumani, Martinez, Pulisic, probably Lavelle fits into the category as well. As attacking players, you're not going to do all of them. Elise fits into this and Wilson fits in. So you might do maybe Elise and Martinez, say, or you might choose to do Wilson. Wilson's the better card. She's probably going to upgrade the team more. So yes, she's more expensive. It's there for 3 weeks to allow you to grind towards this. This card has been out since the start of Team of the Year. So therefore, you've had 2 weeks to grind towards this, and most people got it done fairly quickly. But there's been enough content that has came out without store packs that you've been able to do that. Now again, we've had lots of different icon SBCs that have came out over the last 2 weeks. For me, I've only done Marcelo because I've chose to do a different player instead of maybe doing an extra icon. But I could have done Marcelo and Butragueno or Marcelo and Toty. EA treat these SBCs like also Team of the Years. These are some of the best cards in the game right now for a specific reason of EA want the Team of the Year is like the top tier content. So I've packed one Team of the Year. I've completed maybe say 2 of the top tier SBCs, with it being Frimpong and Marcelo. I maybe could complete a 3rd one with obviously what's left over right now. But that's like still 4 upgrades to my team that I've made, which maybe is too many. And then you add in 2 or 3 Evos, you're still changing your full 11 by the end of the 2-week promo. It just isn't you're changing it consistently, or you're not doing like 2 or 3 upgrades in a day like some other promos allow you to do. And I think what this all boils down to is, in a way, the prestige of Team of the Year. I think it's kind of been lost in the last few years of these unlimited grinds and people feeling like you are not entitled to pack a Team of the Year, but that you should be packing multiple blues all the time. Now, that also comes down to certain content creators that might put out the expectation, you could say, of, oh, yeah, I've packed the 40 Team of the Years. Because people see that, they then think they're easy to do, but these content creators have put thousands of pounds into the game over the sort of few weeks that it's available, and so therefore it kind of creates that facade in a sense of, oh, it's easy to pack Team of the Years. It's not. When you look at all the pack weight, the best pack and the most consistent pack we have had for Team of the Year drop weight has been these, the step ahead packs. It's an 84 times 25. Now, this is probably one of the only parts I've been underwhelmed by. Normally, we see some really big store packs. The best is like 85 rated. We've not seen like an 86 times 10 pack. We've not seen an 87 times 8 pack. We've not seen an 88 times 5 pack. We've not seen anything like that, which we normally do see over Team of the Years, which kind of surprised me. The only other thing with packs, in a sense as well, is the pack weight of honourable mentions hasn't been great. On previous years, we would see a guaranteed honourable mentions pack and, I don't know, an 85 times 10 or in the same sort of pack, or a guaranteed honourable mention and 25, 84 rated cards. Yes, it would be expensive, but people would buy it. Honourable mention drop weights, it just doesn't exist, and I don't know why it's so low, considering some of the cards aren't the best, and they're only like 88 rated. You should realistically have packed Gahey maybe 2 or 3 times and a Riad 2 or 3 times. On previous years, that's how it would normally be. Unfortunately, this year, it doesn't seem to be the case, and a lot of people are still even yet to see honourable mentions for some reason. That I disagree with. The store packs I thought could be better. But that's like the only negative for me over Team of the Year. I think everything else EA have done has been more than good enough. I'm not saying it's, oh my god, this is the best promo ever. We've had probably 2 or 3 promos. Winter Wildcards was really good. This is going to be a Cunha inform, which is quite nice to have for Evo potential. But yeah, there's been 2 or 3 promos that have been really good this year. Team of the Year has been good. It's just not been up there with being seen as the best. However, I don't think EA have dropped the ball with this. It's just that the community expects a lot more than what EA have gave. And I think that's where the disappointment came from. So let me know down below what you think of it. If there's anything that you've heard me say that you disagree with, that you think I'm wrong, whether you just want a conversation about it, I'm interested to see. Now, we are going to try and open some of these 82x25s to see if we can pack a blue. I've opened 7 so far from yesterday's content, and I haven't packed anything. We'll see what these 3 also give. Then I'll do the final 10. I've got 100 premium upgrades sat here. I'm going to see whether it's worth it or not. The one thing I also want to say is, Team of the Year for me, I normally will open a lot of store packs. I will normally spend anywhere upwards of about 50,000 FC points over the 2 weeks. And I'm only on 22,000, I think. I've been kind of keeping on track of it with the playtime this year. I was on 150,000 FC points spent. I'm on 172,000 now. So, yes, I've spent a lot prior to this, which is probably why my club was boosted up and ready to go for Team of the Year. But it does also show that you haven't had to spend any money this year, and you can still complete content. I've completed, as I said, 4 SBCs, 2 of the big ones, and 2 mediocre ones, you could say. Yes, it's okay, maybe I wouldn't have done all of that if I hadn't have opened those packs, but I would have easily, because there's enough stuff in my club, I probably completed 2 of those SBCs of the big ones, and maybe 2 of the mediocre SBCs. So, either way, I was going to get something done. The Team of the Year I packed was from a save pack, hasn't came from any store packs. The honourable mentions that I packed have came from a champs, and I think the other one was a save pack as well. So store packs for me have been the worst part of this promo, which then also shows that the other content's been good enough because I've packed them. So hey ho, we'll see how it goes. For me, I've still got a bit of grinding to go over the next 24 hours to hopefully pack a blue. Tomorrow we have Future Stars, which does look exciting. I'm quite excited to see some of these cards coming out. I'm going to have some of the 88 to 90 packs saved and ready to open tomorrow because there's a lot of cards that fit into that. So hopefully we can pack some of those purples. But yeah, as I say, let me know down below what you think of Team of the Year. If you haven't enjoyed it, Future Stars does look to be good. So hopefully that will be enjoyable for you. But that's where we're going to leave it for today, guys. I'm out. Peace.